I said, probably 30 to 45 minutes to get to the camp.
We're half an hour to 45 minutes out of schedule.
From what you were originally planning, or from my original bad estimate?
Your original estimate, yeah. No.
Well, I try to be like Scotty in the original Star Trek. Always pad the numbers in case something bad does happen. Otherwise, you look like a miracle worker to Captain Kirk. Oh yeah, it's going to take 4 hours, Captain, to get the warp engines back online. And then you get them done in an hour. Like, Scotty, I thought you said it was going to take 4 hours. But Captain, I turned out that I'm smarter than I thought or something.
I have zero estimates for this trip.
Well, being it's your first time on it, it's hard to know. I've got a number of times where I've gone to different points before turning around.
Yeah.
My best time to the tree line was 6 hours. I know I made it in 7 hours about 3 weeks ago. So I'm hoping somewhere between 6 and 7 this time around.
Yeah, no, I was going to go to the mountain. It was going to be, or going to go to the summit. It was going to be exhausting because I'll be trailing behind the two lunatics.
Mm-hmm.
Becoming apparent, there was no way I would keep up with them. So at that point, I decided I was just take it easy and enjoy the trip.
Right?
Get as far as I get. Doesn't really matter if I make it to the summit or not. We're probably, as far as altitude goes, not far off the house I've got from starting point.
Yeah. So you think roughly this is the highest elevation that you've ever been to then? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, it's definitely the highest elevation I've been to, by a good margin.
Or are you saying the highest increase in elevation that you've ever gone to as well?
It's both, I reckon, at this point.
About the same?
I reckon it's both. I think from starting point to summer, I've done it, so I reckon it's so that's about just under 900 feet. 850, I reckon. No, wait, what did I say? Meters, not feet.
So you're saying the most that you've done in elevation increase?
Yeah,
previously about 950 meters.
850 meters.
850 or 950?
850 to 9. I reckon.
Okay.
But
doing a little calculation here. So I think that's about 1.26 miles. Multiply that by 5,280 feet. When we get to the tree line, you'll definitely be rivaling that. If you go all the way to the summit, then you some quick estimations. You should indeed have surpassed that.
I reckon it's about 2,750 feet or is the highest it brings an incline. But
I'm thinking you're off.
probably off by a little bit. But 1 foot.
Here, I'm gonna go ahead and turn my phone back on and actually bring up the calculator. But if I remember right, you have 1.6 kilometers per mile approximately.
It's about 3 feet in a meter, or 3.25 feet in a meter, isn't it?
That's about right. I've always said like 3 1/3, 3.3, roughly speaking, feet per meter.
So I think it's about 2.7 or 2,700 feet, yeah. But that isn't just up one mountain like this. That is actually going up and down a fair bit.
Yeah.
There's like you have to cross one mountain before you can hit on the next one.
Right.
Yeah, I live in Golden. So I thought I gotta start getting out there, get higher. Yeah, it'll be fun no matter what.
I did it 4 times.
Oh wow! Wow!
17 was my last time.
Oh my gosh!
Are you talking about going all the way to the peak?
First and probably last.
Yeah.
No, there's a race that goes to the top.
Oh.
What age group are you in?
Oh, yeah, I don't race.
55,
Okay.
59.
That's what I was in when I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were like 40 people in it last year in my age group.
Well, maybe you'll win age division.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So you said 850 meters, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be 0.85 kilometers. Oh, okay, I may have made a mistake myself. Let's see. So kilometers, I want to convert that to miles. That I need to multiply it by 5/8. I was doing 8/5, so I had it flipped over. So that's about 0.53 miles. If I multiply that by feet, 2,805. Yeah, we've exceeded that then.
Yeah.
That's what I get for trying to do something in my head. Occasionally I mix up the direction of the conversion. At least I know how to check it. There's a guy that's a flat earther that's famous on YouTube. And then there's some people that debunk him. The guy could not understand that to convert from kilometers, to convert from meters to kilometers, that you have to divide by 1,000.
It's a very complicated process.
Well, I took a response video to him by Flat Earth debunkers. The people are a little more rational. And I added in a little explanation. Because they were basically making fun of him. It's like, at this point, like, if you're going to be stupid, we're just going to mock you for being stupid. We've tried to talk sense to you for how many years now? I'm like, I'm not involved in generally making videos for that. I'll make educational videos quite a bit. But not to go and try to debunk some conspiracy theory like they do. But I did make this response about if you have a larger measurement unit, you are going to need less to cover the same thing. If you are using a smaller measurement unit, you will need more of that to cover it up. You know, if you're talking distance. So what I did was I got out an extra camera and put something that had both inches and millimeters and centimeters on the other side. And, you know, it's right there in front of them then. Okay, here, you know, you see this little line segment I drew was something like 11 centimeters.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, the millimeters are smaller. They're a tenth of a centimeter, but that's not going to make the distance. If it's 11 centimeters, that's not making that 1.1 millimeter, which is basically the kind of mistake this guy was making. It's making 110.
It's a very tricky concept. Honestly.
Well, for some people it is. But even with the difficulty that you can have, there's at least two easy approaches if you write it down about how to think about it. And I didn't even have something to write down when I started to put stuff in the calculator. I realized, ow, my units aren't canceling out here. I'm compounding the issue. That's how I caught my error.
Somehow that number is a lot bigger than it should have been. Yeah. Yeah, no, I reckon at some point you have to have surpassed ignorance and gone into willful ignorance.
Right. So this is another landmark that I'm recognizing. And I forget how long ago it was that I said 30 to 45 minutes. My best estimate from here is about 20 minutes to the camp. And the worst is 30 to 45 from here. It's a pretty wild view indeed. If you put that stuff up as YouTube shorts, people will go nuts for it.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I don't doubt it. The amount of times I've sat down at my laptop thinking I'm going to do something constructive, and then I get stuck in a YouTube shorts loop. It's a dangerous website.
What's that?
It's a dangerous website, man.
Well, usually I have it on as background noise for when I am actually being productive. But I mean, hey, if you stop being productive, I think it was probably going to happen regardless of whether you had that as a distraction or not. There comes a point where we can only be productive so much at a time.
Oh, yeah, no, it's definitely a hard limit.
Now, I mentioned students I teach, including although really is related, but not exactly the same field. I teach that at a university, and that's what most of my videos are on my YouTube channel. But I did about a year ago decide, go ahead. Well, let's put some other stuff on there as well, just to show the human side of teachers. So there are joke videos up there. I made those exclusively as shorts. Cat videos, those are shorts. And then the hiking videos, mostly shorts, but a little bit long form. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to capture most of the trail. And what I'm going to do, if I'm actually able to move all these files somewhere, is before I upload it, I've got video editing software that will stabilize. So you see right now,
Oh yeah,
it's
that
going
would
like,
be a tiring thing to watch.
yeah. Just stabilize it, and I'm probably going to post a few different versions. Like, besides stabilizing, it'll also speed things up. So I'll be like, okay, for those of you with ADHD, here's a 10-minute version.
I reckon it's gonna make some second, make very good second monitor content.
So far, I have not been monetized. However, I opened the channel for the educational stuff in March of 2020. I'd actually been thinking about it before the pandemic. I had some plans roughly a year in advance of that, half a year to a year, and it kind of forced the matter. And up until a year ago, I had only about 20 subscribers. And when I started putting that extra stuff up there, I'm up to 599 as of last check yesterday.
Apparently you hit something in the algorithm then.
Yep. However, I probably have it confused with, so it allows me to, under the same account, to have different channels. I'm going to try to start separating things out and hopefully not lose any subscribers from the main channel. But the algorithm probably gets confused with this nature stuff versus cat stuff versus jokes. At least the jokes are along with the topic of the education. But even still, it's probably confusing to the AI algorithm. I don't believe it's actually artificial.
No, it's I mean, it's really just math. It's all just very, very complicated statistical math.
That's what I'm thinking. That it's program stuff, that it's not generating anything new.
No, I wouldn't go so far as to call it AI.
Go ahead.
To be fair, I am fairly skeptical of the whole thing.
Well, given the doomsday naysayers, I say, if it really is, then hey, bring on the Terminator that much quicker. There's no John Connor that's going to save us. I'll be back.
To be fair, I think the social media algorithms are scarier than the AIs themselves.
That's for one thing. I don't have autoplay. I don't have it go from one video to the next. I have that crap turned off.
That was definitely it. But yeah, now they're
Does that say live sore? Embrace the pain? Wow.
Is that this bag?
That might have been a Motley Crue song back when Vince could still sing. He's the one who called Dr. Lindsay. He's the one that embraces the pain. He's the one who called Dr. Lindsay. I'm gonna be your Frankenstein. I was talking about Def Leppard. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
being honest, just they've been able to do what they did back in
Oh, see, that's the thing. I was talking about Def Leppard. Around this time last year, I went back east to visit my dad and stepmom. Flight back. Got to the Denver airport. Took the light rail into Denver. And then waited for transportation back down south here. And turns out that day, it was the big tour with Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Joan Jett, and Poison. And apparently the point where I walked outside was when Def Leppard was playing. And I could tell it was not the recording. I could also tell Joe can still sing.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of recordings out there from this same tour of Motley Crue where Vince can't, and from even much earlier tours as well.
Yeah. So Guns N' Roses this summer.
Did you?
Yeah.
Now, there was a while where it looked like maybe Axl couldn't do it anymore either, but some more recent ones seem to be like, yeah, maybe.
Sort of good. It's better now than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, to be fair, it's unfair to hold them to the same standards
Of when they started out, but then again, if he's better than he was 10 years ago,
yeah.
That's good.
And I worked at the bar at Guns N' Roses concert back in 2010.
You say that first part again?
Works at the bar in the venue Guns N' Roses were playing now. I reckon about 2010.
You were working at it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And he couldn't sing then.
But now you saw them just this summer, and he's kind of back.
You guys are crazy. Off and on. You've been off and on running. 1 hour.
He's definitely improved a little bit since then.
So all right, tell me where I'm at in comparison to him. Shed a tear 'cause I'm missing you. Still alright to smile. Good, I think about you every day now. How am I doing?
Very good.
One reason why they mess up is they push themselves too hard on tours.
Yeah.
You know, do a 2 or 3 hour show, do several nights worth of that.
Oh yeah, because they played. I think they played about 2 hours 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's a pretty long show.
Yeah.
So I could see how we'd be dancing with Mr. Brownstone. Da, 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 da. Forgot the words. Da, da, da. He won't leave me alone. No, no, no. Won't leave me alone.
He's doing all right on the beat, or on the regular singing. It's when
Okay.
they're going high.
Into what I was just trying to imitate. Is that what you mean?
I mean, Mr. Brownstone doesn't go that high.
It's getting close.
It's almost there. It's one of those that it feels like it goes higher than it actually does. As learning to play it right before I came here, actually.
I see.
And in my mind, it goes a lot higher than it actually does.
What instrument are you playing on? Bass? 6-string?
Mostly guitar or little bass. Mostly guitar, little bass, and I sing terribly. I can go high, I can't go low.
Well, that is one thing I lose is the transitions in between. If I don't practice.
Yeah.
I don't have... I gave up on the idea of heroes and heroines a long time ago in any respect. So for example, as a amateur singer, I actually did do some recording with someone. Demo wise, we did some like 6 songs. They varied in quality, but I thought they all had potential. Just nothing's happened. And basically when he recorded something, what he did was he played the guitar, he played the bass, and he set up a website, because this was in 2008 and 2007, 2008.
Right.
No, 2008, 2009, sorry. Apps existed, but they weren't as well known or well priced. So he found this website where he could program in a drum beat. Say, I want the snare to hit this many times in a beat. You know, at this point within that measure, etc. Do that for the snare, do that for the kick. But once he recorded something, once he was satisfied with it, which maybe meant he was trying out his idea before I would drop by, and maybe once I dropped by, he'd record it best 3 times, and then that's it. Now you sing. And the problem with that is one of our better songs, which is about people that are depressed and don't commit since I'm recording this, don't commit the S's, thing. Don't unlife yourself. Keep trying. He did not have the recording of the drums into separate parts of the kit. It was just the site did one thing at once, and he had the volume up too high, so it was distorting.
Right.
And some of the people that were listening, I couldn't pick up on it at first. It took several listens to get what the heck they were saying. But it was distorting. And about 2 years after it was recorded and a year after I'd moved away from the person I was recorded it with, we were still in contact then. I said, hey, I'm going to try to replace the drums here where it'll play the exact same thing, but I can get rid of the distortion. I'm going to need you to check a couple times with where I place the different parts when it's being hit. And forgot it was, he said he had been semi-pro, which could have meant that he played in a bar band. Might have been better, I don't know. I believe that he played in a bar band. Kind of like Jack Black's character in School of Rock. Probably eventually got himself kicked out. For the 20-minute solos, the stage dives, etc. But anyway, for what he was able to do, for him not, we both have a background, and so I'd send him something, he'd go, no, that's not right. It's like, yeah, I know it's not right. Can you tell me what I need to do to fix it? He couldn't say that. He should have been able to say, hey, have this high tom being hit 3/8 of a beat sooner or 3/8 of a second sooner or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, with a background and his musical background, that's something he should have been able to easily say. But no. So I got somebody else with a background that helped me great for a while, but about my age. He did not have a musical background. In fact, he was pretty tone deaf, but he could hear when something was occurring. And so he was able to compare the original drum line to what I was coming up with. Finally, with his help, I was able to line that stuff up pretty well.
Yeah.
But even when that was done, unfortunately, it comes out sounding a little stilted compared to, when I try to mix it in. So, if there was someone that was a mixer or a producer, or someone that actually just would play it on live drums and then help mix it in. But even with that, it's such a good song. But one of his influences for soloing was Jimmy Page. I can hear it in the tone he has, in what he's trying to do. He mentioned a few others. One of them, the tone was still kind of Jimmy Page-ish, but I think he was talking about somebody who played with Fleetwood Mac for a while. That had influenced the solo on the first recording we had done. But anyway, the one I'm referring to was like the second or third song we did, and there's parts of it that are so good. But then he tried playing 3 different solos, kept them all, trying to harmonize. You could tell he was when he was recording. And I think even if he had not been, still, he had his limitations. And he should have just practiced it and practiced it and practiced it and come back to it a couple months later and re-recorded it. He never did. Now, every couple months, he stopped talking to me around 2015, 2016. By then, it'd been 8 years. You think in 8 years, he could have sat down, relearned his part, and perfected his playing of it. But no.
But if he needed 8 years to do it, probably not someone I'd want to be in a band with.
True, but if you can get something about it that's timeless, in certain portions, his guitar work would have been a throwback to the 70s, which there have been a number of throwbacks to the 60s and 70s. You take some of the stuff that Def Leppard did, they actually started in 77 or 78. And you can hear some of their early recordings where they're kind of redoing it. You're hearing in their first 2 to 3 albums, Jimmy Page-ish type influence solos on that stuff the early guitarists did for that band. Nirvana, Pearl Jam. So 10 years later, they're trying to take a different approach to recapturing the 60s and 70s. It's like all these different movements, if they care about music, they may not want to be flashy. Some may want to be technical and flashy, and others aren't. But there are the ones that actually care about musicianship are actually trying to go back to, okay, let's see what was going on at the beginnings of rock, and then take it in our own direction. There's been at least 2 or 3 times when that's occurred.
Probably overly planted. Like,
Some of them I like, and some of them it's like, I mean, I'll listen to Eddie Van Halen, although there will be people that argue with me. I'd rather listen to him when Sammy Hagar was singing instead of David Lee Roth.
oh no, David Lee Roth is
So you'd rather run with the devil instead of climb higher and higher. Straight up we'll climb. Right? My ears pop at elevation, so I'm trying to hit those notes. And
oh, that
like,
never occurred to me. That would be different there.
what's that?
Never occurred to me. That would be different there, wouldn't it?
What would be different?
Hitting the notes in the thinner air.
Well, even still, because I'm not practicing, I'm not doing what I should do with how the mouth and the jaws are held.
Yeah.
So between that and the ears popping, I'm trying to go, get higher and higher. If I spread my mouth open a little too much, pop. And then it goes, when I did it the first time, it probably went sour right about the second time that I said higher, sang higher. Am I right?
Didn't notice.
No?
I wasn't particularly listening for it.
Because it sure sounded that way, but again, the ear was in the middle of popping. Yeah, apparently it's impressive for a guy to be able to hit these high notes at this elevation. Like, okay, I'm doing it.
Would it be? I don't understand. I'm trying to work the physics of this out in my head now. Because imagine deeper would be hard.
I heard myself today to see if I still feel fit. I focus on the pain. The only thing that's why a mixture of Johnny Cash and Trent Reznor. My dad raised me on country, and what I heard of Nine Inch Nails at the time that it was getting big, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I heard something that was similar. It might be called poppier compared to Nine Inch Nails, but it sounded good to me. It's called Stabbing Westward.
Never heard that.
Their big hit in 95 or 96 was called What Do I Have to Do? And
I was 5 at the time, so you know.
how much?
I was 5 at the time, so.
Okay. So there would definitely be. They've been around a couple years, but I'm sure Nine Inch Nails was around longer. I think I read some interviews where they said they'd been influenced. I think they probably also got influenced by Depeche Mode and some darker metal stuff. Put it this way. If they'd had a stronger follow-up album and Linkin Park hadn't come along late 90s, early 2000s, they would have kept going. It would have been what Linkin Park became, I think. They didn't have the rapping, but there were, the mixture of electronic for the sake of electronic dance music, and metal riffs with electric guitars that you get in Lincoln Park you were getting with stepping westward, and I think Nine Inch Nails was probably doing some similar stuff. I don't know how strongly.
It's definitely more out there.
Hmm?
They were definitely a little more out there, though.
Well, I think from what I heard of the original version of Hertz, there was also some ambient keyboards going on. There was probably some heavy guitar, but turned down way low from the sound that I'm recalling.
More experiment, to put it like that.
I'd say Stepping Westward was too, plus one of the songs that they had. Again, some recording. I'm probably gonna just like take out audio on some of this stuff anyway. But so again, we're talking 95 or 96. And there's a song called Sleep. Which is about how a girl handles falling asleep at night when there's an abusive father at home, and you can imagine what kind of abuse is being talked about. And I think it even suggests towards the end where maybe she unlifes him as one of the terms that can get past YouTube by saying unlife.
Yeah, I've heard that one getting past.
Should be real close by now. Looking to see if you have an internet connection where you can look up that song.
I don't have enough internet that you can actually look at the song. I might have enough to check elevation.
It should be somewhere between 10,000 and 10,200, roughly. We shouldn't be far from the camp at all. Worst estimate I'd say now is 15 minutes. Could be as little as 5.
$10.43.
10,0043.
Yep.
Is what you get from the apps versus what they claim they're at. Their sign says they're something like 10,100 or 10,200.
Yeah.
Whereas where an app will tell you, you might get a different thing from a different app. So 10,100 or 10,200 on the app can differ from what their sign says. It could be a little lower, it could be a little higher, but we're close.
See, now it's reminding me more of hiking in Norway.
There you go. There was another spot a little while ago that could have been like this, but apparently the water flow has been a little different this year. So I'm trying to remember my landmarks. Are we like 5 minutes or 15 minutes from the...
Oh, about 5.
All right, my best estimate was good then. Thank you. At the camp.
Decide on whether I gamble on the shuttle or gamble on the train.
Well, if you can get an internet connection, you can see if you can make a reservation still. Say again?
Not feeling the elevation quite as much as I was led to believe I would.
Yeah, I think it affects different people differently. As one of our fictional movie characters said, you never know what you're gonna get. Depending on what their signs say and what different apps you check, it's anywhere between 10 and 10-2.
Bar camp, they say 10-2.
That's what I'm saying. We're almost there. So
You guys going all the way?
I am.
Good for you. We're
He's-
having a big satchel.
What's that?
We're having a big satchel.
Oh, variety of stuff. Try to have it well distributed that I can move at a decent speed still and not feel pain. For some reason, as it's getting to the bottom, it's not coming up through this, and I had to take the lid off.
Really?
I think it's something about where the straw goes to.
Unfortunate design, man.
What's that?
Unfortunate design.
See the straw
Oh, yeah.
going to about there, I think. So it's right about at the limits of where it can take from.
Is that 6 miles past or 6 miles left?
Past.
Good.
I think it's probably more accurate to say 6.5 or 7, but some of these markers they put up a long time ago. And, there's been increasing accuracy. So, like, I can see there are new markers that have been put up more recently. That one, this one, how long they've been there, I don't know. But I've seen newer things as I've been here today. Stuff I didn't see 3 weeks ago, for example.
Oh, right.
And so they're probably doing stuff with GPS to get more accurate readings about how far have you gone so far, how far is there still left to go. Like I say, though, even though the sign on the camp is gonna the main building it could say something like 10,200. Is that exact? I don't think so. Still, probably more exact than some of these older markers are.
Yeah. Running there, I can't believe.
What part can't you believe?
People actually running this.
Yeah. So either they have more experience with running than I do, more experience with hiking mountains than I do, or a bit of both. Either that or they're just supermen and superwomen and I'm screwed anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, no, couldn't have done that even at my best. Which definitely isn't now. That Elk Park Trail is really which one? Elk Park? Or whatever it is done now.
If you make a right here in like 100 yards,
Okay.
it goes out to just above where they check your brake.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's pretty.
Yeah, I see one of my buddies like that. You go, keep your head in. You can actually walk in there if you want. Yeah.